Well, hello. It is I, Chris Brogan. I also have Jenny Lynn-Travis and I have Jacqueline Carley here, and we are here to talk a little bit about an interesting conversation about network marketing. And the way I phrased it was I said I didn't know very much about network marketing, and what I did know was sort of bordered with a little bit of skepticism and some interesting misgivings, and but also some real great interest and intention. And Jenny Lynn-Travis represents her own self in this instance, but happens to be the company that she does work with is called Visalus. The reason I bring this up is because I had the opportunity to interview Ryan Blair, who's one of the three co-founders, a few years ago with regards to his book, whereas this story was kind of background noise to the interview. So it's interesting that this much later I get this opportunity. And also joined with my girlfriend Jacqueline Carley, who also is somebody who promotes Visalus and is also connected to this. So I want to just do real quick introductions, and I'd rather you do it yourself so that you can fill in all the details you want to for that. So I'm going to hand it to Jenny Lynn and then to Jacqueline, and then I'll come around with the first set of questions. Again, remember that you can ask me questions in the chat section. If you happen to be getting this in the recorded form, you can send me email directly, chris@ownermag.com, and I will answer anything I can answer. All right, let's go.
All right. Well, hey guys, thank you so much for hopping on tonight. I appreciate it. Prior to Visalus, I was a professional physique athlete for many, many years. I was also a personal trainer for about 20 years. As a professional physique athlete, I had a very successful career. I won 12 IFBB Pro titles. I won the Figure Olympia twice. I won the Arnold Classic Figure International 3 times. Retired from competing at the end of 2009, was really looking for like, what's the next chapter in my life, and wanted to find a way to impact lives, prayed a bunch, and very fortunately was introduced to Visalus, and it's been a massive, massive blessing to me, and excited to share it with you guys tonight. Jack, take it away.
Hi, I'm Jacqueline Carley, and I am a nutritionist and also PhD student in mind body medicine. I work with people primarily through nutrition and fitness. I'm also a competitive figure athlete, and that is how I met Jenny. Jenny has been one of my idols in figure competitions for years and years, and she is now my mentor, and I'm working with her with Visalus to promote the challenge as well to help people get fit.
If you're here live, you can ask questions directly into the chat box. And if you are not here live, you can send me email, chris@ownermag.com. So Jenny, the very first question is, Jack just kind of explained how she got involved with this, but how did you get involved with network marketing and Visalus in the first place?
So when I retired from competing, I wanted to find a way to be involved somehow in the health and fitness industry. I didn't really know how that was going to come to fruition. And very fortunately, a gal that I had done personal training for years ago, her husband was friends with one of the co-founders' best friends. So kind of a friend of a friend of a friend. And she had told him, hey, you know what, I used to train with Jenny, and she's a professional physique athlete. She just retired, and she promotes her own 90-day challenge on her website, and she might be interested in learning more. So that gentleman and Nick reached out to me and asked me to align with the challenge. And my knee-jerk reaction, I've never sold anything in my life outside of myself and personal training. So my knee-jerk reaction was, I don't think I'm the girl for the job. I don't think I can do that. And he said, you're ignorantly telling me no. You don't even know what you're saying no to. Let me send you the science of our products. It's like, all right, well, I'll take a look, right? So it's low in sugar, it's low in fat, it's gluten-free, it's lactose-free, it's diabetic-friendly, everything that I was looking for as a personal trainer anyways. And I thought, okay, well, that's something I can get behind. And tried the product, loved how it tastes, put my whole family on the challenge. And in the first about 4.5 months, my mom lost 65 pounds, my dad lost 45 pounds, my brother lost 55 pounds, and my sister-in-law lost 65 pounds. So clearly I knew that the challenge worked. So that's essentially how I got started.
Interesting about that too is that we see testimonials all the time, and you always kind of have that weird feeling like they're made up and, fake. Here's some pictures, call it a day. But when you see your whole family deal, you go, that's proof enough for me. I'm good. I'm in. Like I said,
100%.
Jack, I kind of know your answer to that one, so I'm going to skip you on that one. But so the next question is, some people just sell whatever, which I really can't imagine is very effective. But you believe in this product, you saw that, and that's important. I would assume to the whole network marketing thing is you actually kind of have to believe in the product.
Well, 100%. I always tell people, like, if this is light bulbs or tennis shoes or tires, I'm not your girl. It has to be something. And the fact that my first, introduction to was my whole family, and they walked out of their body. I was a trainer for 20 years. Couldn't have helped my own family have that kind of success. And they lost all of that weight without moving a muscle. Now, obviously, as a trainer of 20 years, that's not what I recommend, but it was this catalyst. It was a catalyst that got them moving. And so now, 4 years later, my mom's in a bowling league and she walks on a treadmill every day, and my dad's hunting and fishing, and my brother joined a gym. And so it was this catalyst that took them from completely sedentary to now living this active lifestyle. So, you have to look at America as a whole, that 232 million overweight or obese people, and we've got a vehicle that just help them make smarter choices so they can start that transition.
Good jumping on point for that. Jacqueline, same kind of question to you. I mean, when you decided to get involved with this, I mean, you surprised me out of the blue, because I was just like, oh, I guess this is something you're going to do now. So you have your master's degree in nutrition, and you also have several other degrees and certifications that kind of feed into this. What makes that good or bad for you?
Well, of course, I had to vet the product first. I had already tried it previously, and I loved it and loved the way that I felt on it, and so forth. But I also needed to be able to check it out thoroughly to make sure that the people that when I recommend it, that it was of good quality, and that the nutrition was there, and it was going to be able to really help people make change. What I really found was that, I've been working one-on-one with people for nutrition for years. Not everybody can afford to work one-on-one with a nutritionist intensely. Not everyone has the time to prep food, every single week. There's also families on budgets that can't afford to buy all organic, all, community grown food all the time. And so I really saw this as a way to be able to, like Jenny said, as a catalyst, and to be able to touch more people and work with more people to be able to help them reach their fitness goals, where it's wallet friendly, it's convenience friendly, and it's nutrients friendly. And if this can be a springboard for people to get started to make change in their lives, then I'm all for it.
Love it. So Jack, I know this is your first experience with network marketing, but my question to you, Jenny, is have you tried selling other products in the past, and how did that go for you or not? Or is this also your first experience with network marketing?
So as an athlete, I was sponsored with supplement companies, right? So I was sponsored with Muscle Tech for 3 years, and GNC for 3 years, and Ultimate Nutrition for 3 years. I wasn't selling their product. They just put my image on their stuff and paid me, X amount of dollars a month to be their person, right? So no, I've never sold anything. I think the only thing I've ever sold previously was myself as a personal trainer, right? So I was a personal trainer, and I was selling my expertise and my knowledge, and, here I can help you get in the shape that you want to. But I've never done network marketing previously. I've never sold anything. Honestly, I had never had a sales background whatsoever. So for me, this was my first at bat. And that was probably one of my first objections, honestly, when I was introduced to the company by one of the co-founders. And he said, hey, Jenny, I want you to, to pioneer this with us. And I said, I'm not a salesperson. I don't think I'm the girl for the job. And he said, Jenny, can you share some stories? I thought, well, I could probably do that. And then my whole family walked out of their body, and then I got crazy about sharing that with everybody that would listen.
Yeah, it's a big difference. It was really funny. I was just thinking about the fact that as a sponsor, you signed your contract, you got whatever dollars you got, and then if they sold crap tons more Muscle Tech or GNC or whatever else you were selling, you didn't get any more. And so there was really no there's no real impetus for you to actually do anything more because they'd already just taken a photo of you, like, you know, doing this with a bucket of muscle stuff beside you. And that was about it. Done. Have a nice day.
Pretty much.
Now, there couldn't be much more passive income than that, but, you know, there's also no way to get up, you know, the ladder. So I find that interesting. All right. What makes this work for you in your lifestyle?
You know, here's the neat thing, because this was my first at bat with this. I didn't know exactly what it was going to become. But really, one of the biggest things that it is for myself and my husband, I got to retire my husband so he could work full time with me. And he's actually sitting here on the other side of me. And Scott, pop in and say hello. He's coming. Just say,
hi, everybody. What's happening?
Hi, Scott. I mean, but that is an interesting point because, you know, it is kind of a, you know, husband and wife kind of business. And there's a lot of couples inside of Visalus, I found out.
It's the neat thing about it, it gives you time freedom, right? So for us, we were talking about that earlier, Chris, about with the alarm clock, right? So, you know, we wake up when it's time to wake up. And 1 second, I'm back. So we wake up when it's time to wake up. We don't, and obviously our schedule, it changes daily. Are we on a plane somewhere? Where are we going? But I would say one of the biggest blessings is that we get to do this together. We get to impact lives daily. We're not on anybody else's schedule. We're on our schedule and what we need to do. Now, we take this business very seriously. We work very hard, and I certainly put in more than a full-time job to build it, but I do it on my own schedule, right? So me and Scott work out together in the middle of the afternoon, but we get that autonomy to do that, right? So that's a pretty cool thing for most people that look at this, like, what? And I always have people in the gym will say to me, like, what kind of job do you guys have that you could be here at 3 o'clock in the afternoon or 2 o'clock in the afternoon every day? And I'm like, have you heard about the challenge?
Come into my web, you little fly.
Welcome to my world.
Exactly. Well, I was just laughing because Jack and I just went to the gym today at about 1:30 or so, and I always have that wonder because it's us and a bunch of senior citizens, and you know, it's always like they must think we're just, you know, ne'er-do-wells. But along the same, you know, lines, Jack, how does this work in for you? I mean, you're training for stuff, so I mean, it's not like you can show up at a 9 to 5 and train for competitions, right?
No, it's been amazing. I have a 9-year-old daughter, and I share custody with her father, and so our schedule is always changing. And I have my training that I also do for figure competitions. I have clients that I work with online all over the country. And so this allows me to do all those things. It allows me to pick my daughter up from school every day. It allows me to go training in the morning or in the afternoon, depending on my schedule. It allows me the freedom to be able to hold my conference calls whenever it works best for me. It allows me to come and drive up to see you. So I really, it's something that's very important to me is time freedom. And before I got involved with Visalus, I had worked with on a corporate job, and although I had a lot of flexibility there, I still had to be in the office when my boss was going to be in the office. I had to show up when there were certain kind of meetings. I had to be seen, quote unquote, or respond to calls all the time, and everything was at someone else's beck and call, so to speak. And now I'm my own boss, and I get to do what I want when I want, and I still work very hard. It's not cushy by any means, but it works.
Yeah. One of the things that I heard you both say, though, is that this is not the, you know, fabled 4-hour work week. You know, you don't just, I think I'll just work a couple hours and I'll just make tons of money and life will be great. You know, you still have to work hard. What didn't you expect when you got started? What was something that, you know, wasn't immediately what you thought it would be, or good or bad, by the way?
Yeah, so I think, so as I was a competitor for 10 years, right? So that competitor life, and Jack can definitely attest to this, it's a little bit lonely and isolated and everything that you do. And if I'm going to win a competition, it's up to me, right? It's not up to my spouse or my friends or my workout partner, it's up to me. Because and everything revolves around me doing that, right? So it's the food that I eat and the sleep that I get and the workouts that I do, and it's all up to me, which is, again, a little bit lonely and isolating and a smidge selfish, honestly. So the nice thing with this business is that it's the polar opposite. We all win together. It's a team atmosphere. It's, I can't succeed any further without pulling in my newest person and helping them succeed. So it's the complete opposite of that lonely, isolating to, now we win together, and now, and there's a whole lot more fun and reward in winning with somebody else and watching them succeed simultaneously. So I think that I didn't understand. I didn't know anything about that. I knew it was a 90-day challenge and I could help some people get healthy and I could get behind that. I didn't realize the business model was a team atmosphere. So that was probably the biggest thing. But again, when I started with Visalus, I had $50,000 in credit card debt. I had a foreclosed property. I had no retirement. I was a single girl. I had creditors calling me. I'd borrowed money from my parents the month before to make my rent payment. So I didn't expect to make $2 million. I'll say that. I didn't ever expect that. I expected to, man, if I can let the creditors stop calling me and I can, get out of this nasty hole that I'm in and I can just live a normal life, like a few grand a month would have been a win. So I didn't ever expect in a zillion years to have the success that we've had.
It's a good kind of thing not to suspect. In getting involved with this company, like I said, I was pretty biased. I actually already knew who Ryan Blair was. I'd actually, talked about his upbringing. So I know him from like his childhood, oddly enough, by way of the book. And I had checked around. It's a publicly traded company now. So I know all kinds of stuff by looking at the annual reports. Plus the Better Business Bureau gave it an A+. So I couldn't, I can find anyone who can complain, but you can find anyone who can complain about anything. I have lots of people who complain about me. But what's interesting is I was thinking, you're in it, Jack's in it. Like, it's a no-brainer for me to kind of get involved. So I did. But like, if someone had just said to me, you got to try network marketing, and it was a blank slate, how would I know? Like, I mean, do you even know how to answer that? How do I know what company's right for me? Like, why didn't I end up selling Mary Kay and hoping to win a pink car or whatever?
I'm sure glad you didn't choose that.
Me too.
Honestly, Chris, there's no way for me to tell that. I've never done network marketing before Visalus. So I'm extremely biased, right? So I don't have anything to compare it to. I have a lot of people that are in my organization that have done network marketing previously, but I don't have any of that. I don't have any of that knowledge.
Sure.
What I know about what we do is that we lead with the challenge. We lead with get healthy. Our customer base is 3.5 million people have taken the challenge. We've helped people lose a documented 15 million pounds. We lead with that. We don't lead with a business opportunity and, we're going to get you rich overnight. So that, I think that's probably the biggest thing is that who do you know that needs to lose 10 pounds? We lead with something called the Project 10 Challenge. Anytime somebody loses 10 pounds or puts on 10 pounds of lean muscle mass, our company then donates 30 meals to children fighting obesity. That's a win, right? So when we lead with that, so network marketing, so if you look at our population as a whole, it's 100%, right? Only 3% of the population are comfortable with network marketing. The other 97% are 100% not comfortable with network marketing. Visalus was ingenious. They're not going after those 3%. We're trying to find the other 97% that know people that need to lose 10 pounds. And we lead with that, and then we give back to communities. And then, additionally, you lose that 10 pounds, your name gets thrown in the hat, you could win $1,000 for doing so. I've had 80 people on my team earn an extra $1,000 for losing the 10 pounds they wanted to lose anyways. So this particular network marketing brand, and I hear that all the time, where people will say, oh, you're in a pyramid and it's a scam and it's a this and it's a that. And I just share the facts. So I don't know anything about that. This is what our company's done. We've helped, I believe Scott would have the exact stats, but I think it's close to 400,000 kids that we've given back to through Project 10 Kids. And that's exciting.
No, I agree. So I want to.
Can I just add
I
something?
want to,
When you were
can I
asking
just
about,
add something? When you were asking about how do you know which company is right for you and stuff. And so I don't know um, logistics in terms of the different network marketing companies, but I had a previous experience with another network marketing company before Visalus, and they were great people. It was awesome, and I tried it, but it I guess I just didn't align myself with the products as much. There wasn't kind of this instant connection. I liked them. I liked the products, and they're great products for someone else, but they weren't products that for me that I was really integrating into my daily life, and that also that I felt very attached to. And so obviously then of course then there is difficulty in speaking to people and sharing about those products because there isn't that connection. And again, it had nothing to do with the company or the people or anything like that. They're great, but for them it was it was something different. When I found Visalus and having the products and using the products and working with Jenny and the team and being able to help Project 10 Kids and working also in alignment with something that's near and dear to my heart, which is fighting childhood obesity, because I grew up overweight and my whole life until my 20s and had an eating disorder. There was this instant connection that I thought I want to shout from the rooftops about this because I want to help everybody. And so I don't know, I don't have an answer in terms of how somebody can distinguish between one network, what if one company is better than the other than to say from my experience, it's when you really connect with the product and you feel like, I believe in this thing, that then, and you want to share it with everybody, that's what it's about. Because it's that network marketing is word of mouth and sharing something that you're passionate about.
Things I found kind of interesting is that, I've been involved in affiliate marketing, which is sometimes considered quite negatively, often considered quite negatively, and I had great experience with it. It's very similar, except that it's 100% active. There's no, if you stop, everything stops. There is no downline. There is no experience of growing other people and helping them make money. You just basically make or stop making money. And I also was involved in sponsored posts, which are, again, sort of a one shot kind of thing. And when I was first involved with it, everyone started, oh, it's horrible, Chris is the devil. And then now every single magazine and everything online does it. So I guess I'm the devil who made the money first. So, I think that that's really cool. By the way, Ben says, love the Fighting Against Childhood Obesity campaign. What a great way to give back. And, the other thing is, and this is from, I watched a documentary that Visalus put together with this other gentleman whose name I'll forget, called The Pyramid Thing. And one of the interesting, well, no, Nick was the host, but the guy who made it was some other guy's name, George something. Anyway, one of the things I saw in that was not only giving to childhood obesity, but even like food shelters and food pantries and kitchens and stuff like that. So, I mean, there's much more charitable giving beyond that, not even to mention what the actual sellers themselves and the people promoting the challenge are doing outside of that with the money that they've earned. So I haven't run into anybody who's especially greedy seeming, considering this is supposed to be a very greedy environment. My question, I guess, Jenny, next is, I'm skipping one of them. What makes a great promoter versus someone who's going to drop off? Because I've in the past said yes to certain things, and then I just never did anything. And I'm just really curious, what's the difference between when you think someone's going to be great at it, or when they're just going to fall off the map?
I think it takes somebody they have to be passionate about the cause, right? And they have to be passionate about fighting childhood obesity and fighting obesity as a whole. And they have to have their own why, right? They have to have their own reason for doing so. So we always talk to people like, what's your reason? Like, I have a lot of times, like, stay-at-home moms, well, their reason why is they don't want to go to work. They want to stay home and raise their child, right? So you have to have a reason why that's strong enough and it's inevitable in this business, as great as it is, people still tell you no. And so you have a little bit of thick skin, and you have to be okay with that. So I think that finding a great promoter is finding somebody who's passionate, that loves our mission, that has relatively thick skin and is okay with somebody that, they've got some my cousin twice removed tried one of those things once and they got scammed. Well, it's not Visalus. You don't have our mission, and you don't have, but that happens. And so if you don't have a little bit of thick skin, you're going to run into those people. You're going to crumble. So I think, and then the next thing is finding a mentor and somebody to be in your corner at all times is really key.
Interesting. Jack and I were having a conversation today when she came up, because I was still working through connecting with some people and seeing if they wanted to get involved with the challenge, even just to be supporting of me, because I really love the community aspect of that. I said, what's really weird is I kind of thought that if I got involved in network marketing, I'd only want to do this with strangers. Like, I wouldn't want to necessarily sell to my friends.
Sure.
I've only talked to friends. I told her today, I said, I've only talked to people that I actually really like and don't want to, make a mess of or anything like that, because, it'll be a little harder for me to kind of just say to some random stranger, you look like you have 10 pounds to lose. My guess is that's not going to work.
You need what we have.
When you say thick skin, I hope I have it around my eyes where they punch me. So to me, that's, I think, that's kind of the fun of it as well. But what I love is that, I actually feel comfortable talking about it. So what do you end up looking for in a promoter? I mean, I know it's a lot different for Visalus, because again, in these other models that I've seen even a little bit of, the Mary Kays of the world, the Tupperwares of the world, the Pampered Chef, all these other companies, because there's a gazillion companies that I never thought of as network marketing. There seem to be, a bunch of weird things, but I guess the question is, what makes it, kind of good or bad? What do you look for? What makes kind of a good experience for that to happen?
It kind of goes back to what we just talked about. Clearly, people that are passionate, people that are driven, people that want more out of life, those are the people that we're looking for. But here's a unique stat. In the 4.5 years I've been with Visalus, I've only personally enrolled 60 people personally. I've only, Jack being one of them, I've only personally enrolled 60 people. And here's how the neat thing with this business model works is that 60 people's turned into 3,500 promoters and roughly 17,000 customers, right? So as a personal trainer previously, my goal was to impact lives and help people. This model, again, I didn't know anything about network marketing previously, but this model, 17,000 customers, that means 17,000 people I help make a smarter choice and live a healthier lifestyle. Well, considering I believe that that's my mission here on earth, that's a win. That's a win for sure. So finding people that share that, that passion, that mindset, that drive, that's probably one of the keys. And then again, we go back to you have to have a little thick skin because people are going to say no. And I guess just equipping your people when they go out that's the case, right? So I think it would be unfair to tell people I only get wins. It's all everybody always tells me yes. That would be poor leadership. I get the very extreme pleasure right now to being mentored personally by John C. Maxwell, who's one of the number one leaders. I think he is the number one leader in regards to leadership training. And I've got to sit at a table with him last Wednesday for a few hours, actually 6-7 hours. And that was one of the things he said. He says, in this particular business model, you guys, those of you that are successful, you're paraded on stage and you have such a gap between the people that want to get where you're going and where you are. So they don't realize that there's failures and that sometimes it's not always a win. So I think that's one of the biggest things I learned, at least in the last week, was I need to share with everybody that it's not, every day is not a win. I still have people every day that tell me no. So, but that's exciting.
I loved that on the call, that I was on your call where you talked a little bit about that. And I love the whole concept of sharing more failures. And I think especially in this kind of environment where there's a lot of high energy around, you're going to do great. That if you don't inculcate people and kind of, warm them up to the idea that, you're also going to fail and, you're going to dent somebody's feelings somehow. Or, one of the other things you shared on it was, all those, reminders about good listening. And, I've had those experiences. I listened to you do a call today, and I was just thinking, by the way, you have lots of fans chatting in the little chatty thing saying we love you. So just so you know. But one of the things that, I also heard was about good listening. I heard you do that today because there were a few different points where I know that I would have just kept talking as I am now. And the person, you asked a question and the person was able to fill in information. And a few different times I just had this feeling like, oh, I know I would have talked right over that. So it was kind of good to hear. I mean, that's your years of experience at hand. Jack, I want to start you on this particular question because to be really candid, we had almost an argument about it, or what you would call a conversation, but what I'd call an argument. Do you consider yourself an owner in the business?
I do. And I know we had a conversation about this. I do consider myself, an owner. I consider myself a quote unquote freak, that what you wrote about in your new book. I feel like this is my business. I'm building an organization. I don't report to a boss. I feel like I'm a part of a bigger mission, and I'm part of a team. So I'm still in a team. Jenny is still in my upline, and we still work together. But ultimately, in my own business, I call the shots. I talk to the people every day. I bring, I'm spreading the word, trying to get people to join the mission and spreading the word about the Project 10 challenge. I create my own hours every day. The work that I do determines how much money I make. And even though Jenny's in my upline, if I bust my ass, I could be making more money than Jenny. I mean, so in what business is there where, if you're not an owner and if I was working for Jenny, Jenny would be at the cap. Jenny would be the only one that would be able to make more money. But because I'm an owner in my own business and I'm invested in my business, and depending on what I do for the business, it's limitless. And building that is pretty amazing. And so, yes, I feel like I am a business owner.
Jenny?
So here's what I love about this particular business model. That, a lot of times in corporate America, I think men are paid, I don't even know what the percentage is, but 30 to 40% more than women, right? A lot of times, across the board. In this particular business model, the compensation plan is a compensation plan. If you go out and crush it, you get paid. I don't care if you're a man or a woman or 18 to, 90. If you go out and kill the compensation plan, it's your money in the bank, right? And in this particular business model with Visalus, if we just go help more people, you get paid. And that definitely feels like a win. My organization we bring in about $25 million a year. That's, roughly $2 million a month that my organization brings in through changing lives, right? That's not just like Jenny's getting rich. No, it's everybody in my organization is benefiting, and we're changing lives with it. So yes, I absolutely believe that it's my organization to as my own being my own CEO of my business. But again, it would be mine to lose as well. If I go on vacation for the next 4 years, I could promise when I come back, it probably won't look the way that it did when I left. Right? So it's up to me to make it succeed or fail. Good news is that I'm a pretty driven cat, so it's going down.
When you say that, I was kind of chewing through my tongue not to interrupt you to say, because I'm trying to listen, to say you couldn't be more the poster child for that as being the person who won the Olympia a bunch of times and all those others, the Arnold Classic and all that. But the Olympia, which still to this day, it's like the guy wins, it's 200 something thousand. The girl wins, it could be 18,000. And what glass ceiling? So, like you say, the check's the check in Visalus. That's cool. Hey, we're getting ready to answer some questions. John had a question. There's a few other questions in queue and all that. But then the very last question I want to ask before we open it up, and by the way, please start dumping your questions into the queue or I'm not going to be able to help you until after. And if you get this as a recording, chris@ownermag.com. That's Jenny Lynn-Travis. That's Jacqueline Carly. Last question before we go to some more Q&A, and then I have other questions. What, if any, are the drawbacks of the career? What's the kind of the downside of it all?
I would say you have to be self-motivated, right? So especially once you get to an income level that you're like, I mean, for me, I was making more money than I ever made in my life within the first year. And so it would get real easy to get complacent and get real easy to be like, checks are still coming in. Everybody in my organization is still working. It could get real easy to become complacent if that's your personality. So I think staying self-motivated is key. Drawbacks, it's organization. Very fortunately, my husband's the extreme organizer. It's not really my skill set at all. If he was in the room right now, he would validate that. I'm a recruiter. I'm a people person. I'm a builder, and he's really the behind the scenes guy that is helping, keeping everything organized. So it's nice that we get to do it together because we get to both, show our qualities and our strengths. But I think that's really the only downsides is just like, if you want it, go get it, right? And I don't see a whole lot of other downsides outside of that. We travel a lot. People are like, oh my gosh, don't you get tired of traveling? Like, well, I get to travel with my husband, and we get to go impact people's lives at every turn. It's pretty much a win.
So let's get a few of these questions out of the way. I'm going to go in slightly different order. So John, one quick second. But Brad, who you may know, asks, how much does Jenny and Jack bench press?
Jenny doesn't bench press. Jack, take it away.
I don't think I have an answer for that.
Well, I can tell you this. I watched her do hack squats with 270 pounds on her off season today. So, I'll tell you this too. Proud boyfriend moment is that she lifts more than dudes in the gym more often than not. And I'm forever just like watching some boy lift way less weight. And I keep trying to do this, like make eye contact with him and then look at her and then make eye contact and be like, there's more plates on her bar than yours. So that was me. Oh, sorry. And Monica logged in as Brad. So Monica was being the smarty pants.
Oh, that was Monica being smarty pants. Of course it is.
So here's John. John asks a really good question. Do you have to join Visalus to do the challenge? And how much does it cost to do the challenge? Which I'm sure you get asked that question many times a day.
Of course. Nope, you don't have to join Visalus. You can just become a customer. Again, our company as a whole is very customer based. I mean, you heard me say 3,500 promoters and 17,000 customers. So that's what it comes back to when people say, oh, it's a pyramid. Like, pyramid was some funky thing that people illegally did, back in the 80s or something crazy. We have a product. We have lots of products, actually. We have 7 kits people choose from. And there's from $49 to $299, there's a kit for you, whether you want to lose weight, you want to maintain where you are, you just want to be healthy, if you want to just have a shake for breakfast, you want to train for a sport-specific event, there's a kit for everybody.
By the way, when people ask the question about pyramid, it turns out the SEC doesn't usually allow pyramids, so you can't be a publicly traded company. And the Better Business Bureau doesn't usually afford an A+ to a company that is a pyramid. So,
not usually.
Yeah, and I don't know. You could read a lot of stories about CEO compensation in America, but this is a company that has put a whole bunch of millionaires on the map, near as I figured out. And not that that's the goal, but it just happens to be a really nice payoff for the hard work. So I kind of like it.
Absolutely.
So when looking to build an organization, do you look to fill different skill sets, or are you just looking for high performing promoters?
So again, as a promoter of the challenge, you're looking for, some people just want to take the challenge to get healthy. Totally cool. I tell people, get in where you fit in. So when I'm talking to a group of people, not everybody wants to earn income. Some people just want to get healthy. Cool. There's a kit for everyone. Let me help you choose the kit that's right for you. We've got this amazing 3 for free campaign. Anybody can get their product free by referring 3 people. And my mom was a candidate. Definitely not going to go back to work. She needed a transformation kit. She did that. We do something with the Project 10 Challenge. We ask people to go public through social media. They go public. And through that, my mom being an example, was able to find 3 friends and relatives that wanted to take the challenge with her. And what held her accountable was obviously all of her friends and then all of my 5,000 Facebook friends watching her. And that's what helped her stay accountable in the challenge. But then obviously there's other people that want to promote the challenge as well.
Yeah, and so you definitely don't have to be a customer. There was a question of how much it costs, and it really kind of varies. There's a bunch of different kinds of kits depending on your goal, how fast you want to get there. I mean, are you looking to put on lean muscle, or are you looking to lose weight? And I hate to make kind of a it depends kind of a question, but near as I can tell, and I'm not your pro yet, when you look at the page, it's anything from 50-ish a month to a few hundred a month. I mean, it's sort of kind of what your goals are, and like I said, how fast you want to get there. One of the things the question about growing out all the people, by the way, I was thinking about how in the Marine Corps, one of the things that they usually say, I didn't serve, but I just know this from reading, is that everyone is a rifleman first. So no matter what your job is in the Marine Corps, you're a rifleman. And when I heard, do I pronounce his name Lucero, Tony Lucero?
Lucero, yeah.
Okay. Well, I heard a quick interview with him, and he was saying that no matter what you really are is you're a promoter. And anything else you're doing and all the other kinds of methods and tricks and whatever, you're promoting the challenge. The challenge is the nut of this whole thing. It's the whole process. And I've not heard anything that disavows that. So it seems like a pretty good way to do it. Brad has another question. What initial strategies do you stress for promoters using social media?
Using social media, again, utilize our business model. The first thing, when somebody jumps on board to promote the challenge, we put everybody through what's called the Getting Started training. It's a very simple, easy, duplicatable model that everybody can do, from stay-at-home mom to Jacqueline or myself or anybody in between. Getting Started training asks you to shoot your Project 10 video, go public with it, and send it out. We talked about this a little bit today, Chris, being high tech or high touch, right? High tech meaning in this day and age, there's a lot of people that want to text things, or they want to email things, they want to Facebook things, because they're not necessarily comfortable talking on the phone. Visalus very fortunately has been knowledgeable of that and said, okay, we're going to give you a couple different options. You can be high tech and then shoot it out to all your social media or text or email. And then other people that are very comfortable talking to folks, then you're going to go high touch and you're going to share with them a magazine or a video link or whatever, and you're going to call them on the phone. So that's really the business model, is doing that, is just getting out the information. And then the second part of our business model after you get the information out is we have what's called a challenge party. And the challenge party, my first challenge party had 2 whole people in my 1-bedroom apartment. It does not have to be this big production. You invite some folks over, they taste to shake, you push play on our presentation. Presentation's about 20 minutes long. First half talks about what is the challenge, what kit's right for me, what's the Project 10 challenge all about, how can I win? Second half of it talks about the business side of what we do. And again, at the end of that, it's get in where you fit in. Are you interested in taking the challenge to get healthy? Or would you like to earn a couple extra bucks promoting this challenge with us? That's it.
Jack, I was going to ask you a similar question just about your promoting methods, because I think, like myself, you do mostly high tech, but you also sort of magically landed something at the gym the other day. And I was curious to know, where your comfort lies right now and where you think it might go as it goes along.
Predominantly, my network is all over the place. And I think that comes from a lot of years of mostly doing my work online. So I really, really liked that Visalus was so open and helping in terms of providing ways in terms of using how to use social media to be able to reach people. I mean, I know how to use the social media tools, but I've never reached out to people in this way before. And so that was kind of how I dipped my toe into the waters and started. And then recently, what's been really cool is that I've then been transitioning to more high touch. And it's scary and nerve-wracking, but super exciting at the same time. And I have to say that I feel like it's great that I'm promoting the challenge and that I'm making money, but I feel like this is also a really huge personal development opportunity for me as well, for me to be able to break through fears that I've had about talking to people about things, or this whole thing I've spent years saying, I'm not a salesperson, I will never do sales, I can't do sales. And not that you're approaching people in that way, but really we're all salespeople. if we have something that we like, if I wasn't working for Visalus and I had a shake, then I would have no problem sharing that shake with a friend. But now because I am part of the business, then all of a sudden I get all like weird. But if I get weird, then they get weird.
Right.
And so it's been a really cool learning opportunity for me to go and try these things. And recently I had an experience in the gym where I was speaking to a woman and had nothing to do with Visalus, but then she tells me that she lost her job, she got laid off, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh, well, maybe she would be interested in promoting the challenge. And of course, in my head, I'm thinking, but don't be salesy, just talk normal. And there was this kind of duality thing happening, like the angel and the devil, be normal, tell her about the challenge, be normal, tell her. But it went really well. She wasn't scared off. I ended up sharing with her the information about saying, hey, I'm doing this cool thing and I think you might be a good fit for it, and since if you want to make some extra money. And she gave me her information and I was like, score, so cool. And whether she decides to do it or not is not even, if she does, great. But if she doesn't, I learned something and I tried something new and I'm pushing myself in ways that I never have before.
Related to that, I have two things I want to say. One of them was just sort of a weird question that I imagine the answer is not all that tricky, but let's say I get involved in this as a promoter, not me, but some nice person. And they're like, you know what? I changed my mind. There's no way I want to help fight childhood obesity. I hope everyone gets fatter. In fact, I just opened a hot dog stand. Screw this shit. I'm done. Right? How hard is it? Like, I quit, or do I have to give back my Visalus tattoo you made me get when I decided I'd promote the challenge? Like, I guess, what's that like?
Well, the good news is they happily give you back all your money. So that's the good news. I don't know about your tattoo. You might be stuck with that. But as far as, if you decide you want to promote the challenge, if you decide within your first 30 days that you don't want to, they will happily give you back all your money. And then as far as taking the challenge, so say you want to take the challenge and your goal is to lose 30 pounds and you fall short at 27 pounds, you can send them back the rest of your bag and they'll also give you back all your money. It's kind of a win.
To me. And that's the thing is, even though this is, as a promoter, you're technically in business and you can choose to really amp this up and make it, your full-time other thing. Like, again, the whole concept of everyone's a rifleman. I mean, everyone's just promoting the challenge. If you decide you're out, then all that really does is, shift some bodies around and some things like that. Let's see. So there's another question. Do you think there is less stigma associated with network marketing for the millennials than for the older generations that grew up with Amway and Tammy Faye Baker? I have an opinion on this, and then I want to hear Jenny Lynn and maybe Jack's opinion as well. A bunch of young people approached me with, by the way, I have this weird mental distinction of MLM as being bad network marketing and network marketing as being good, but they're kind of used interchangeably. It's just the people who have said they're into MLM are also the ones who say, I am going to show you how to make 6 figures a month. And I go, that is so cool.
Tomorrow.
Do you make 6 figures a month? And they always say no. And I go, how are you going to show me? And there's a dead, awkward silence. And that has been young people, 100% young people who show that with me. And they're all like the slicky, cool hair gel kids who are like, they're going to kick my butt and be awesome. And I'm always like, I don't even get this, which is why there still kind of continues to be that stigma. But like Brad just said, there's an ancient stigma too with sort of, the old, oh, this is Amway version 2.0. So what's your take on all that?
So here's what I've learned. Again, this is my first network marketing company, so I don't have anything to compare it to. I've never been to anybody else's meeting or anything like that. But I believe that in old school network marketing, they did this kind of weird trickery where, like, I just want you to come over to my house, and they don't mention that you're going to be introduced to a business, and they're like, I don't know, hijack people. And so that's weird. Like for Visalus, ours is, hey, guess what? So ours is very transparent. Our whole entire company, like just like you said, it's a publicly traded company. You can find out everything that there is to find out. And when we invite somebody, like myself and Scott are having a challenge party at our house on Wednesday night. Now there's a flyer out. Everybody has to go to a website. They got to see the links. They're probably, I mean, they could try the product. They can see the overview presentation. They can see everything there is to see before they show up at our house. And generally speaking, people have already been, they've already seen everything. They're just showing up to taste a shake. Yep, it tastes like cake. I'm ready to sign. So that's different. And there's a lot of network marketing companies that still do that kind of weird, creepy, when they show up, we just attack them from behind. And our company is not that way. Our company is, we're pioneering the obesity epidemic. We're helping, giving back to communities. If you're interested in taking the challenge, awesome. If you want to, promote the challenge with us, that's awesome too. Get in where you fit in. That's kind of how we roll.
Jack, what's your take on that? Have you had any experiences, otherwise about it? I mean, when I talk to anybody about it, I only get, the 97% response. I get, pyramid. And I go, sure.
Right.
Want a shake? And that's all I go.
Yeah.
So
It's interesting. What I've been seeing actually is, and so this was even at, I saw at the Visalus event, there were every age group category, every shape, size, ethnicity, it was everybody. It was from grandma to college student. And that was really interesting for me. But I also think that there are a lot of the older generation that I feel like that are a little bit more open to it. Even though there was all that skepticism, I feel like people that are, they're at this point in their lives where they want to try something new and where they're looking for a second career, or they have families that they want to support, or they want to retire early. And there's a tremendous amount of the younger generation as well that are super excited in doing this. But I also think that in the kind of younger generation of this kind of high tech, everything's super fast and we can make $1 gazillion in 1 month and stuff like that, that I've seen where they really get caught up with that kind of mentality and really try to push hard on other people with that. And then where I've actually, in my experience, have gotten kind of the most pushback has been in the middle, has been in that my own age group. I feel like is where I'm getting a lot of pushback right now, where they're like, "Oh no, you're one of those people now." So yes,
So sorry.
I am.
Jerks helping people get less fat. Oh, jerko.
Darn you.
All right. So let's say I want to defy the plateau and I want to do the challenge, but at the end, that was good. And these shakes are great. And I lost some weight and I now want to promote that. What's that process like? Is it really hard? Do they have to swear on a Bible, or, they're going from customer to promoter at the end of it all? What happens there? Do they have to pee in a cup?
There's no peeing in a cup, there's no Bible or anything. Ironically enough, they would just, if you're already a customer, it's very simple. You just log into your customer account, you upgrade to become a promoter. And then Visalus, we go back to the business model, right? So welcome to the challenge. We go through the getting started training. We book everybody's personal challenge party in the next 4 to 7 days. We help them make telephone calls. I think it's part of the key to success, and certainly in my business and my own personal team, is that I help everybody succeed. I help people get to the event so that they can see the bigger picture and see it's bigger than me. I know that Jack got to come with us to one of our regional events, like just after she got started, and I think it was a really, really good plan, because she got a chance to see, wow, this is bigger than Jenny. And hold on, I'm back. So this is bigger than Jenny. This is bigger than Monica Brandt. This is, wow, we're going to impact lives. We're going to fight obesity. This is, if that person can do it, and that person can do it, and that person can do it, and that person can do it, I know for sure I can go crush this. So I think that was a huge win there. But that's it. We just run the play. The business model, getting started training, 7 days to director. If you hit director in your first 7 days, you've earned your investment back. Slam dunk. 5 days. So Jack did it in 5.
Jack
She's
did
an
it in
overachiever.
5.
She's an overachiever, that one.
I didn't do it. I still have like 5 days left to get over my lethargy, so I can possibly earn and win, but I was a skeptic. Actually, you know, the part about Jack going to the event, I want to highlight, and then we get it. What are you laughing at?
Because I came home
She's
and
trying,
Chris was like,
she's trying to pull together.
Yeah, this is a cult. That's what I'm going to go into.
You're in a. This is true. I came home and Chris was like, "You're in a cult."
That's what I'm going to go into. So
Just an obesity fighting cult.
yeah,
It's
you
okay.
jerky. But well, because you chant and things, and you shout at the people on the stage, and there's hand gestures and crazy things. So I said to her, "This is crazy, and it's a bunch of beautiful people, and it's baloney." And she was like, "No way! There's lots of fat, weird old people that lost all kinds of weight too." And they, you know, it was like she's like, "No, there's regular people there. It's not like models. You know, it's like real life regulars." Jay, I'm going to answer that one offline for you. Just give me your email address and I'll send that to you. But, you know, every like negative thing I wanted to say about it, Jack was there at the live event and was able to sort of say, no, that's not how it was. And that was kind of helpful. So I had read this book on it, or I'm almost through a book on it, about network marketing in general. And one of the pieces of advice he said is go to every single one of these events that you can go to as best as you can. It's not an expense. It's a way to actually gird up your strengths and help you better understand the system and really be able to talk to people and understand how it all kind of works. So what I liked about that information was just that, you know, it kind of brought it all home. We have 2 whole minutes, Jenny Lynn and Jacqueline Carly. And so anybody who didn't get their questions in, and there's been a few that I haven't been able to answer right away, like Jay, just drop me an email, chris@ownermag.com, and of course we'll follow up. But in the last couple of minutes, here's one thing I want to ask, and I do want to put some of the people that are live here on the spot. This is not an offer. You could just hang up. I don't care. If you are vaguely interested in learning a little bit more about this, about being a promoter, it'll save us both a crap ton of time if you just drop me your email address in the little chat window and we can follow up and talk to you about that. Or even if you just want to try the shakes, you want samples, that's what Jenny Lynn would say. And I saw her eyes go, he better offer samples. So whatever you want, just drop an email or something and we can get it going. And if not, the intent of this entire call was just to understand a little bit more about it. And I'm so grateful for your time. You are such a star in that space. I mean, you go from winning the Olympia, the Arnold Classic, all these kind of huge internationally renowned things to then being a ridiculously overperforming person in your first network marketing gig. 4-star ambassador. Do I have it right? Or have I? You're 5 now. Pardon me. I don't really know what that means. I just know that there's 5
Chris, pull it
stars. What
together.
the hell is 5? What does that even mean? That's like you've sold $71 billion or something. I don't know. Or is that like private? We can't talk about it.
I think honestly, no. I think honestly what it means is I helped a bunch of people, right?
Cool.
So we've helped 38 people earn a 6-figure income, and 17,000 people choose a healthier lifestyle. So that feels pretty good in my belly.
Crazy awesome. All right. Jenny Lynn, Jacqueline Carly, thank you so much for your time. Thanks for being here. It was really good. And everybody who played along live, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Most appreciated.
Appreciate it.
Bye.